Chapter 2690. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled. Lan Qingyin is certain that you guys are unable to absorb the cold energy from the divine pond of ice. That's why she's so calm. If the three beasts could really absorb the cold energy, Lan Qingyin's expression would definitely turn extremely ugly. Hearing this, the three beasts felt a wave of dissatisfaction in their hearts. Throughout their journey, what they hated the most was being looked down upon by others. Isn't it just the divine pond of ice? I'm a dignified beast king. How could I not be able to absorb this energy? Baishur snorted coldly and closed its eyes. It tried its best to adapt to the cold energy and tried to absorb the energy. Xiao He and Xiao Bai were not to be outdone. They were not ordinary beasts. Although ordinary beasts would not be able to withstand this energy, it did not mean that they could not. Seeing the confidence of the three beasts, Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curled into a smile. She then calmed her heart and began to circulate the demon summoning scripture. As a heaven-defying technique, the demon summoning scripture had always been of great help to Bailey Hongzhuang. If it were not for the high level of this technique, she would not have been able to catch up to Lan Qingyin's cultivation in such a short period of time. Following the circulation of the demon summoning scripture, Bailey Hongzhuang suddenly felt that the cold energy in her body had weakened a little. Seeing this, Bailey Hongzhuang could not help but be shocked. Could it be that the demon summoning scripture had a resistance against the cold energy? Thinking of this, Bailey Hongzhuang quickly circulated the demon summoning scripture. The energy from the divine pond of ice and snow also continuously flowed into her body following the circulation of the technique. With so much water entering Bailey Hongzhuang's body, logically speaking, this cold energy was not something that a cultivator could withstand. However, Bailey Hongzhuang did not feel the slightest bit. She only felt an endless amount of pure energy flowing into her body, removing the impurities in her body and filling her dantian at the same time. The rainbow divine pearl seemed to like the energy from the divine pond of ice and snow very much. Its flickering rainbow light became brighter and brighter as it spun in her dantian, absorbing the energy. After Bailey Hongzhuang confirmed that the cold air could no longer affect her body, she stopped worrying and began to absorb the energy. As soon as Lan Qingyin entered the divine ice pond, she had already released the aura of a rank 9 blue realm. However, Bailey Hongzhuang was only at rank 8 blue realm. If she wanted to catch up to Lan Qingyin's cultivation, she could only rely on the power of this divine ice snow pond. Bailey Hongzhuang's huge movements naturally attracted the attention of others. In an instant, other than Bailey Hongzhuang, everyone opened their eyes. When they saw Bailey Hongzhuang absorbing the energy without restraint, they couldn't help but be dumbfounded. Could it be that she's not afraid of the cold? The four disciples of the Lan family stared blankly at Bailey Hongzhuang as their eyes sparkled with disbelief. They had personally experienced how terrifying this cold air was. Logically speaking, it was Bailey Hongzhuang's first day at the divine ice snow pond. It should be impossible for her to adapt to this energy. Even if she could adapt, she would have to carefully absorb some of the energy. It was impossible for her to absorb freely. However, Bailey Hongzhuang in front of them did not seem to feel this at all. She was absorbing freely. Lan Qingyin's eyes widened. She did not understand how Bailey Hongzhuang did it. Most importantly, she noticed that the purplish color on Bailey Hongzhuang's face had disappeared. On the contrary, there was a faint blush lingering on her face. Chapter 2691. Lan Qingyin couldn't understand. Logically speaking, this should be impossible. How invasive was this cold air? Even the elders had to be extra careful and didn't dare to rashly absorb it. However, Bailey Hongzhuang's body didn't have any resistance. Yet she was able to withstand it on the first day she entered the divine ice snow pond. How'd she do it? Lan Qingyin couldn't figure it out no matter how hard she racked her brains. However, Bailey Hongzhuang in front of her had clearly adapted to the cold air. While Lan Qingyin was angrily waiting for Bailey Hongzhuang was wholeheartedly channeling the demon summoning scripture. The demon summoning scripture was a heaven-defying technique. Its ability was extremely impressive. Although Bailey Hongzhuang was shocked that it could withstand the cold air, it wasn't hard to accept. Lan Qingyan bit her lip with her pearly white teeth, looking at Bailey Hongzhuang's beautiful face. An indescribable hatred filled her heart. She couldn't understand why Bailey Hongzhuang's luck was so good. Thinking back, during the Battle of Zhuolu, Bailey Hongzhuang also inexplicably received the Primal Chaos Tablet's affirmation. From Lan Jingquan's mouth, she already understood that her Rainbow God Pearl caused her to be closer to the Primal Chaos Tablet. However, Bailey Hongzhuang's intimacy with the Primal Chaos Tablet was stronger than hers. And now, the Lan family's divine ice snow pond was actually being absorbed by Bailey Hongzhuang. This was simply infuriating. Bewitching and Mo Yunjue couldn't help but be shocked when they saw Bailey Hongzhuang actually wantonly absorbing the energy from the divine ice snow pond. Then, both of their faces revealed smiles. Bailey Hongzhuang was indeed a miraculous woman. No matter where she was, her performance was astonishing. Looks like we have to work harder. Mo Yunjue's lips curled. Hongzhuang's performance was already so impressive. They couldn't drag her down. Let's see who can absorb more. Deep Beichin chuckled. Then, he calmed down and began to cultivate. There was only so much energy in the divine ice snow pond. The more they absorbed, the less Lan Qingyan and the others could absorb. Previously, Lan Qingyan had looked down on them. Now, they couldn't be weak. The influence of the cold qi from the divine pond of ice and snow was not small, but both Deep Beichin and Mo Yunjue were not ordinary people. They had many tricks up their sleeves. It was not impossible to absorb the cold energy from the divine pond of ice and snow. However, they were not able to completely ignore the cold energy like Bailey Hongzhuang. When the three beasts saw that their master was so powerful, they felt proud of themselves. Lan Qingyan still dared to look down on Master. This was definitely a blind dog. An imposter wants to be mentioned in the same breath as Master. What a joke, Xiaohei said coldly. The more it saw Lan Qingyan, the deeper its disgust for her. In my opinion, Lan Qingyan probably still doesn't know Master's identity. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to hold herself back. Xiao Bai's eyes flashed with wisdom. This Lan Qingyan was definitely not a person who didn't show her emotions on her face. If Lan Qingyan knew that Master was most likely Lan Yixuan, she would have exploded long ago. Isn't this good? Wait until we get out of the divine ice snow pond. Lan Qingyan's expression will be even more interesting. Baisher sneered. Chapter 2692. Because Bailey Hongzhuang's actions were too shocking, Lan Qingyan and the Lan family's disciples were unable to regain their senses for a while. They completely did not know how Bailey Hongzhuang did this. Based on their family's many years of experience, they could only steadily absorb the energy. In comparison, Bailey Hongzhuang's absorption speed was much faster than theirs. After Lan Qingyan saw that Bailey Hongzhuang's absorption speed did not have any intention of slowing down, she could not help but turn her gaze to the latter's three contracted beasts. Bailey Hongzhuang actually only cared about her own cultivation and completely ignored her three contracted beasts. However, following Lan Qingyan's gaze, she discovered that Bailey Hongzhuang's three contracted beasts were floating on the divine ice snow pond very well and did not show any signs of being unable to withstand the cold. Most importantly, she even vaguely heard from the mouths of these three contracted beasts that they were mocking her. This discovery could not help but make Lan Qingyan burn with anger. The jealousy in her heart also became more intense. It was fine that Bailey Hongzhuang could do this, but Bailey Hongzhuang's three contracted beasts could actually withstand the cold. Wasn't this too strange? Logically speaking, the demonic beast should not be able to withstand it. At this moment, Lan Qingyan also understood that Bailey Hongzhuang's three contracted beasts were not ordinary demonic beasts. It was extremely difficult for ordinary contracted beasts to raise their cultivation to this level. However, Bailey Hongzhuang's three contracted beasts had reached this level. Moreover, their spiritual intelligence was far from ordinary demonic beasts. This was enough to prove that they were not ordinary. As the young master of the Lan family, her foundation was actually not comparable to Bailey Hongzhuang's. "Young master, what should we do?" The four Lan family's disciples looked at Lan Xingyan. The situation before their eyes had completely exceeded their expectations. Lan Xingyan coldly glanced at the four of them and angrily rebuked. "It's already like this. What else can we do? Think of a way to absorb more energy. Otherwise, it will affect your own future." After her voice fell, Lan Xingyan no longer paid attention to the four of them. This time, she had already thought of a way to deal with the divine pond of ice and snow. Just a few days ago, her father had taught her how to absorb the divine pond of ice and snow as quickly as possible. This method allowed him to ignore the cold and absorb the purest energy into his body. Originally, she wanted to use this method to surprise Bailey Hongzhuang, but she didn't expect that before she even started to use it, Bailey Hongzhuang had already surprised her. She had lost to Bailey Hongzhuang the last time. This time, she would not allow Bailey Hongzhuang to improve so much. The power of the divine pond of ice and snow belonged to the Lan family. They would never allow Bailey Hongzhuang to absorb as much as she wanted. Lan Xingyan's hands quietly flipped, forming a seal between her hands. Immediately after, the purplish color on Lan Xingyan's face quickly dissipated. The water in the divine ice pool was also continuously being drawn away by her. From beginning to end, she maintained the same hand seals. Feeling the abundant energy rushing into her body, Lan Xingyan felt a burst of joy in her heart. This was the feeling. An endless stream of energy was transforming her body, becoming a part of her body. After seeing Lan Xingyan also erupting with such a great attraction force, everyone's eyes were filled with surprise. It seems that Lan Xingyan was also prepared. Chapter 2693. Bailey Hongzhuang, who was absorbing the energy, naturally felt the movements from Lan Xingyan's side. However, she did not open her eyes. She did not care what method Lan Xingyan used to achieve this. The most important thing was to seize the opportunity to absorb the energy. After Bailey Hongzhuang and Lan Xingyan started their battle, the originally calm divine pond of ice and snow became uneven. However, Bailey Hongzhuang and Lan Xingyan were clearly in a state of confrontation. Both of them were equally matched. Astonishing energy washed over their bodies. Even though the divine pond of ice and snow was extremely rich in energy, everyone could still feel the speed of their absorption. Bewitching and Immerse were not affected by the two at all. They continued to absorb the energy by themselves. Although they had certain methods, they still needed some time to adapt to the divine pond of ice and snow. Obviously, they would not be able to absorb as much energy as they wanted in such a short time. In comparison, the disciples of the Lan family did not have such a good mentality. Their strength could not be compared to Lan Xingyan and the others. To be able to obtain this opportunity was already a great opportunity for them. However, the current state of Lan Xingyan and Bailey Hongzhuang was too frightening. If the two of them continued to be in such a state, then they would not have much energy to absorb. At this moment, they could only hope that Bailey Hongzhuang's state was only temporary. For a moment, they did not dare to delay any longer. After all, it was good to absorb more energy. However, under such a state of mind, the four of them were somewhat nervous. Therefore, the effect of the absorption was not very good. Originally, the divine pond of ice and snow was only suitable for 6 cultivators to absorb energy at a time. However, Lan Xingyan and the others deliberately used some methods, so it became 8 people. Now, with the addition of Bailey Hongzhuang's 3 contracted beasts, it was almost conceivable that the energy in the divine pond of ice and snow would be completely absorbed in less than a month's time. On the other hand, Bewitching and Immerse did not have any distracting thoughts. It was their first time coming into contact with the energy of the divine pond of ice and snow. Although the speed was slow in the beginning, as time passed, the speed would gradually increase. After Bailey Hongzhuang and the others entered the divine pond of ice and snow, Lan Hongtai returned to his residence as if nothing had happened. However, Lan Hongtai's appearance today gave Lan Jingquang and the others a different feeling. That damned old man, for him to come out at this time, it's obviously because of Bailey Hongzhuang. Judging from his attitude, he is warning us not to do anything to Bailey Hongzhuang. Lan Jingquang couldn't hide his anger. He was strong enough to become the head of the Lan family, but Lan Hongtai wouldn't let him. He didn't understand. As the patriarch, the most important thing was strength. Why would Lan Hongtai never acknowledge him? From the looks of it, the situation is troublesome. The great elder must have told the patriarch everything. I'm sure the patriarch's thoughts are the same as ours. He believes that Bailey Hongzhuang is Lan Yishuan. Lan Kaiqing's expression was extremely ugly. He and Lan Jingquang were already in the same boat. If there was a problem, he wouldn't be able to get out of it either. We have to quickly find evidence. Even if we don't have it, we can fake it. We have to prove that Bailey Hongzhuang and Lan Yishuan are not the same person. Chapter 2694. Blue Sun City. Si-Tu Yin and Mu Jin-Se had been paying attention to the Lan family's movements and were prepared to support Bailey Hongzhuang at the slightest sign of movement. Hongzhuang and the rest have entered the divine pond of ice and snow. It looks like the situation is going more smoothly than we thought. Mu Jin-Se's face was filled with a faint smile. Hongzhuang's methods were truly extraordinary. Although she had not attended the luncheon, she had heard the news from the Lan family and knew how stunning Bailey Hongzhuang's performance had been. There shouldn't be any problems in the divine pond of ice and snow. We'll just wait here for Ling Bing and the rest to arrive. Si-Tu Yin slowly said. Mu Jin-Se nodded and a faint smile appeared on her face. However, a cold light flashed in the depths of her eyes. She had also met Yu Siqing in Blue Sun City. However, compared to Yu Siqing from 20 years ago, she had aged a lot. The moment she had seen Yu Siqing, she could no longer contain the hatred and murderous intent in her heart. However, now was not the time to show it, so she could only endure it. After so many years of torment, 3 generations of her family had all been destroyed by Yu Siqing's hands. Mu Jin-Se's hatred towards Yu Siqing could not be described in a few words. It was a good thing that Hongzhuang had given her the rejuvenation pill after healing her. Now, she had regained her youthful appearance. When Yu Siqing saw that she was not disfigured, she would be very disappointed. At the same time, Yu Siqing was thinking of ways to concoct the strongest poison in her residence. She and Lan Jingquang were in the same boat. This Bailey Hongzhuang had humiliated her in front of everyone. If she did not take revenge, then she would not be her. This damned Bailey Hongzhuang. I don't know why, but I feel that she's a little familiar. Yu Siqing's mind raced as she concocted the poison. This feeling was very strange. She had clearly never seen this face before, but there was an inexplicable sense of familiarity. She had always believed in her intuition. If she felt that the face was familiar, then she should have seen it before. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. Lan Qingyin let go of her hand that had been maintaining the hand seal. This hand seal also consumed a certain amount of her mental strength. Therefore, she needed to stop every few days to recover. However, when she stopped absorbing, she realized that Bailey Hongzhuang showed no signs of stopping. Originally, Lan Qingyin and Bailey Hongzhuang were evenly matched in the pool. But now that Lan Qingyin had stopped, Bailey Hongzhuang's side seemed to be the highest in the pool, almost hiding her whole body in the dense energy. Damn it, how did this Bailey Hongzhuang do it? She can actually keep absorbing energy for such a long time. Lan Qingyin's face was ashen. Her father had secretly taught her a secret technique before she was able to reach this stage. Could it be that Bailey Hongzhuang also had a corresponding secret technique? Thousands of thoughts ran through her mind. Ever since this Bailey Hongzhuang appeared, her performance was extremely extraordinary. Moreover, her foundation also made her feel an indescribable sense of fear, because Bailey Hongzhuang's performance was really too outstanding. In comparison, Bailey Hongzhuang had already overshadowed everyone's brilliance. Chapter 2695. During this period of time, she could already feel Bailey Hongzhuang's aura constantly increasing. Now that she was already at Blue Realm level 9, it was obviously not easy to break through to the Purple Realm. On the contrary, she could not feel any signs of her bottleneck loosening. It was as hard as a rock. On the other hand, Bailey Hongzhuang's aura was increasing. If this continued, Bailey Hongzhuang would be able to enter Blue Realm level 9 in a few days. In this way, the gap between her and Bailey Hongzhuang would completely disappear. With the help of her father, she was able to increase her strength to this level. However, Bailey Hongzhuang actually used their Lan family's Divine Ice Lake to directly break through to Blue Realm level 9. This was a bit too ironic. Bailey Hongzhuang, who was cultivating, naturally heard Lan Qingyin's words. However, she did not take it to heart. Evidently, Lan Qingyin could no longer keep up her pretense of calmness. Long before she came to the Lan family, her father had already told her that the Lan family had owned the Divine Ice Lake for so many years. They had a certain amount of experience in absorbing the energy from the Divine Ice Lake. Therefore, Bailey Hongzhuang did not find it strange that Lan Qingyin had a way to quickly absorb the energy. However, this kind of secret method required a certain amount of mental strength. Therefore, Lan Qingyin could not maintain it all the time. There would definitely be a time to slow down. In comparison, she was surprised that a heaven-defying mental cultivation method could have such an effect. More than that, she was pleasantly surprised. She wanted to use the power of the Divine Ice Lake to defeat Lan Qingyin. Seeing that Bailey Hongzhuang did not pay any attention to her, Lan Qingyin could not hide her anger. Bailey Hongzhuang, don't pretend that you didn't hear me. At this time, Bewitching slowly opened his eyes. His extraordinarily handsome face slowly wrinkled into a frown, and between his eyebrows emerged a bit of impatience and disgust. Young Master Lan, since we've come to the Divine Ice Lake, we'll rely on our own abilities. My wife has the ability to absorb the energy. Is there a problem? After interacting with Lan Qingyin for a period of time, Bewitching had a certain understanding of Lan Qingyin's pestering character. However, Lan Qingyin's words were undoubtedly to delay Bailey Hongzhuang's time. Lan Qingyin was stunned for a moment when she saw the undisguised disgust in Bewitching's eyes. Even though she already knew that Bewitching liked Bailey Hongzhuang, she still felt an indescribable throbbing in her heart when faced with such a handsome face. After all, she had never admired a man so much in all these years. Therefore, in the face of Bewitching's criticism and protection of Bailey Hongzhuang, Lan Qingyin was even more unhappy. For her to suddenly absorb energy so quickly, it doesn't make sense. She must be using some shady means, Lan Qingyin said with a cold face. Shady means? Bewitching's lips curled into an evil arc. As far as I know, young Master Lan also used a special method to absorb energy. Could it be that this is also a shady means? That's my Lan family's secret method. The Divine Ice Lake is my Lan family's property. It's normal for me to know a secret method. Everyone has their own methods. You have the Lan family's secret method. My wife naturally has her own methods. Chapter 2696. Seeing that Bewitching was so protective of Bailey Hongzhuang, Lan Qingyin's face turned ashen. She didn't know what kind of bewitching methods Bailey Hongzhuang used on Bewitching and Mo Yunjue to make them so loyal to her. Bewitching was fine, but Mo Yunjue was also the same, especially when she recalled Mo Yunjue's disdainful look towards her. Lan Qingyin couldn't help but feel angry. In the eyes of Mo Yunjue and Bewitching, it was as if she and Bailey Hongzhuang were completely different. The Divine Ice Pond belongs to my Lan family. It's normal for me to have a secret technique. Bailey Hongzhuang is only here for the first time, but she's absorbing energy so wantonly. There must be something strange. Lan Qingyin didn't give up. Her gaze turned towards Bailey Hongzhuang, who was still cultivating with her eyes closed. Bailey Hongzhuang, don't pretend that you didn't hear anything. It's meaningless. Hearing this, Bailey Hongzhuang slowly opened her eyes and looked straight at the aggressive Lan Qingyin. What do you want to say? Bailey Hongzhuang lazily glanced at Lan Qingyan and went straight to the point. Lan Qingyan was slightly stunned. Then, with a cold face, she said, "I don't care what kind of methods you usually use. But in my Lan family's territory, it's better for you to keep these methods to yourself. According to what you said, only you can use secret techniques here. We can't use our own methods? I've always heard that young Master Lan is extremely overbearing. Now, it seems that this degree of overbearingness is far beyond my imagination." Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curled into a mocking smile. Lan Qingyan really inherited her parents' fine tradition. She learned the word jealousy incisively and vividly. Hearing this, Lan Qingyan's expression turned even uglier. "I don't believe that you have any legitimate means to absorb energy so quickly. It must be some unorthodox method. If you use such a method to affect the divine pond of ice and snow of my Lan clan, what should we do? Your words are too far-fetched." Bailey Hongzhuang sneered. "How I absorb energy is just a method. What does it have to do with the pool water? If you continue to be so unreasonable, then don't blame me for being rude." Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes blossomed with a sharp and ruthless light, as if it could pierce through the heart of Lan Qingyan. With the help of this pool of water, she would be able to break through to Blue Realm 9th level in a few days. If Lan Qingyan continued to disturb her here, it would be very detrimental to her advancement. Seeing that Bailey Hongzhuang actually dared to threaten her, Lan Qingyan couldn't help but be stunned. Her entire body was suffocating with anger. This was the Lan family. Bailey Hongzhuang actually dared to threaten her in the Lan family's territory? Wasn't this a little too lawless? Bailey Hongzhuang, don't be too arrogant. In the next moment, Lan Qingyan slapped the pool water and looked at Bailey Hongzhuang with a burning gaze. The elemental energy in her body had already burst out. However, without waiting for Bailey Hongzhuang to make a move, Deep Beichin and Mo Yunjue's elemental energy fluctuations had already surged out at the same time. Two cold rays of light shot out from their pitch-black pupils. Both of them coldly looked at Lan Qingyan. It was clearly Lan Qingyan who snatched away everything that should have belonged to Bailey Hongzhuang. Now, Lan Qingyan was still here, unforgiving. Comparing the two, Bailey Hongzhuang was really much better than Lan Qingyan. Chapter 2697. This woman really thinks that she's so great. Xiao Hei's figure rapidly grew as she looked at Lan Qingyan with an unfriendly gaze. Whether it was quantity or quality, their side was not inferior to Lan Qingyan at all. Lan Qingyan, consider it carefully. Once you make a move, you'll be the one at a disadvantage. Bailey Hongzhuang's expression was cold. She came to the Lan family with the intention of shedding all pretense of cordiality. There was no need for her to have any misgivings. Even if they were to fight in this divine ice pond and turn the world upside down, she would not be the least bit afraid. After all, her maternal grandparents were now in Blue Sun City. She had already made full preparations for coming here this time. Moreover, Lan Hongtai's performance at that time had proven many things. Lan Qingyan and the four Lan family disciples saw Bailey Hongzhuang's arrogant and fearless appearance and could not help but feel indignant at the injustice. In their Lan family's territory, this was the first time an outsider dared to be so arrogant. Bailey Hongzhuang, are you so sure that the one at a disadvantage is me? Lan Qingyan's eyes were cold as she pointed at the surroundings and raised her voice. You better look carefully. This is my Lan family. Ha! Bailey Hongzhuang sneered. It seems that you still don't understand why the Lan family elders have such strange expressions when they see me. Now that they had entered the divine ice pond, once they entered, they would be sealed for a month. During this period, the Lan family members would not easily enter. Therefore, Bailey Hongzhuang did not care if Lan Qingyan knew her identity or not. After hearing Bailey Hongzhuang's words, Lan Qingyan, who was originally unable to restrain her anger, could not help but change her expression. This was what she did not understand the most. Lan Qingyan's gaze was fixed on Bailey Hongzhuang. Her voice was tinged with seriousness as she said, Do you know why? Bailey Hongzhuang's phoenix eyes slightly raised. Of course, don't you think were very fated. Very fated. It was just an ill-fated relationship. This time, she had come to sever this ill-fated relationship. Hearing this, Lan Qingyin's expression became even stranger. She didn't know why, but looking at Bailey Hongzhuang's confident appearance, her heart had a bad premonition. She had never seen Bailey Hongzhuang before, and the first time Bailey Hongzhuang appeared in the Lan family, she was able to cause such a commotion in the Lan family. This was really a little too strange. Thinking of this, Lan Qingyin couldn't help but look at the four people beside her. She wanted to know if they had heard anything. However, the four of them shook their heads. They knew nothing about this. Bailey Hongzhuang, stop keeping us in suspense. What do you know? If you have the ability, just say it. This feeling of being kept in the dark made Lan Qingyin very angry. Could it be that Bailey Hongzhuang knew about their Lan family's matters, but she didn't? Bailey Hongzhuang shrugged and chuckled. Why are you in such a hurry? You will know after you finish cultivating in the divine pond of ice and snow. It's very exciting. Just wait and see. The degree of excitement of this good show might exceed everyone's expectations. She knew that Lan Jingquang and the others must have launched a frantic investigation on her. However, the results of this investigation might not be satisfactory. After all, an unprepared person would never be able to defeat a prepared person. Chapter 2698. This feeling was as if a huge conspiracy was unfolding right in front of her. However, she didn't understand it all. She just stood there blankly, waiting for everything to swallow her up. At this moment, Lan Qingyin only felt that Bailey Hongzhuang in front of her was somewhat unfathomable. However, even if she racked her brains, she still couldn't figure out where the problem was. Bailey Hongzhuang had never had any interaction with the Lan family. This feeling made her extremely uncomfortable. However, Bailey Hongzhuang wasn't willing to say it out loud. The originally hostile atmosphere gradually dissipated after Lan Qingyin's mystery. In fact, Lan Qingyin also understood that if it weren't for Bailey Hongzhuang's 3 contracted beasts, they would still have a certain chance of winning in a 4 versus 3 battle. However, she had already seen the battle prowess of these 3 contracted beasts. Moreover, after such a long time, these 3 contracted beast strength must have improved to a certain extent. Once they fought, with the 3 contracted beasts harassing them, it would be difficult for them to win. It was a pity that only so many people could enter the Divine Ice Pond. Otherwise, she would definitely teach Bailey Hongzhuang a good lesson here. However, she wasn't in a hurry now. As long as she left the Divine Ice Pond, she would still have a chance. Seeing that Lan Qingyin had obediently shut her mouth, Bailey Hongzhuang didn't bicker with Lan Qingyin anymore. She closed her eyes and continued to cultivate. The power of the Divine Ice Pond was extremely beneficial to the body. The more she could absorb, the more benefits she would gain in the future. Bewitching and Mo Yunjue also began to cultivate again. Based on the current situation, Lan Qingyin wouldn't be able to make any waves. The Divine Ice Pond once again regained its tranquility. Only the sound of subtle breathing and the rippling of the pond water could be heard. Have you noticed Jing Kuang's recent actions? Lan Hongtai turned around and looked at Lan Borong behind him. His voice was low and hoarse. Master Kuang has been investigating Bailey Hongzhuang's background and identity. Second Elder and the others are also becoming more and more diligent in buying people's hearts. Previously, Master Kuang had planned to wait for Young Lord to return from the Battle of Zhuolu before recommending Young Lord as the family head. However, due to the poor results, he temporarily gave up. Right now, Master Kuang is probably feeling threatened, so he chose to speed up. Lan Borong slowly told Lan Hongtai what he had learned recently. In the past, Lan Hongtai didn't care about the family's affairs. Even if Lan Jing was trying to buy people's hearts, Lan Borong didn't care when Lan Hongtai mentioned it. In fact, Lan Hongtai had long wanted to put down the family matters and rest in peace. If the family head position was handed over to Lan Qingyin, he was also willing. However, now that the situation had changed, he took the initiative to care about these things. As expected, he can't hold back anymore. Lan Hongtai chuckled and shook his head. Originally, he thought he didn't know Lan Jingquang at all. But after so many years, he understood Lan Jingquang's attitude. Power was something Lan Jingquang could never let go of. Perhaps it was because of this that Lan Yunxiao's cultivation was always stronger than Lan Jingquang's. Because Lan Jing was too distracted. Not only that, Yu Siqing has also recently entered seclusion. Every day, she is secretly researching something in her room. No one can see her. Chapter 2699. Hearing Lan Borong's words, Lan Hongtai couldn't help but slap the table. His calm face also showed a trace of anger. It's the same trick again. Yu Siqing is truly a troublemaker. Back then, it was Yu Siqing who came up with such a sinister plan to harm Lan Yunxiao's family. Now, Lan Jingquang was colluding with Yu Siqing. Based on his understanding of Lan Jingquang, he must have made up his mind to end Bailey Hongzhuang once and for all. In Lan Jingquang's heart, familial love had always been extremely thin. Anyone who tried to stop him from obtaining power would be dealt with by him. Even his own father, in his eyes, was probably looking forward to an early death. What happened in the past was already the greatest pain in his heart. If Lan Jingquang dared to do such a despicable thing again, he wouldn't tolerate it any longer. Family head, if that's really the case, then we have to be more careful. Lan Borong frowned. Yu Siqing's poisoning methods were truly impossible to guard against. The slightest carelessness could lead to them falling into her trap. Back then, they'd suffered such a loss. Lan Hongtai nodded. Send people to pay attention to the movements over there. Don't let anyone find out. That incident had happened last time because they hadn't set up any defenses. Now that Lan Jingquang wanted to use the same trick again, he wouldn't give him the slightest chance. Limitless Palace Lan Yunxiao and Mu Lingbing were cultivating day and night. The two of them abandoned all distracting thoughts and focused all their attention on cultivation. Perhaps to ordinary people, cultivating day and night was unspeakably dry and arduous, but to them, it was something they wanted to endure. Compared to the years of torture they'd endured, being able to properly cultivate now was their greatest wish. Moreover, they were about to appear before those fellows with a brand new face. This was their greatest motivation now. Counting the days, Hong Zhuang and the others should have entered the Divine Ice Lake by now. Nangong Wu's face rippled with a faint smile. When she first met Bailey Hongzhuang, it was still too early to plan. But now, Bailey Hongzhuang's heart was already in motion. According to the information we received, Hongzhuang wasn't bullied in the Lan family. On the contrary, Yu Siqing and Lan Jingquang lost face in front of her. Sect Master Situ and Palace Master Mu didn't even appear, and the matter was resolved. Yu Linfeng's eyes were brimming with admiration. In recent years, Bailey Hongzhuang had become more mature. Everything was within her plan. To be able to reach this step at such a young age was truly amazing. In comparison, the gap between ordinary cultivators and Bailey Hongzhuang at her age was probably a huge chasm. Lan Qingyan originally wanted to use the Lan family's power to teach her a lesson. She didn't expect Hongzhuang to be so overbearing that she couldn't even say a word. In the past, I've always heard of how outstanding Lan Qingyan was. But in my opinion, Lan Qingyan can't compare to Hongzhuang. Nangong Wu's voice was filled with disdain. In the past, when everyone praised Lan Qingyan, she didn't care. But now that there was a comparison, there was no need to say anything more about Lan Qingyan. Hongzhuang's experience, since young, was different from Lan Qingyan's. Naturally, her way of dealing with things is much better than Lan Qingyan. Chapter 2700. At the divine pond of ice and snow, a powerful energy fluctuation suddenly came from the calm pond, causing Deep Beichin and the others who were cultivating to open their eyes and look at the source of the energy fluctuation. They saw Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes were closed and the cold pond water around her was boiling. However, this was not due to the increase in temperature, but Bailey Hongzhuang's rapid absorption of energy. Seeing this, Deep Beichin, Emo, Yunjue, and the three beasties were all delighted. Hongzhuang is about to break through. Bewitching's lips curved into a faint smile. They had only been in the Divine Ice Altar for 7 days, but Bailey Hongzhuang was able to break through from level 8 Blue Realm to level 9 Blue Realm. Her cultivation speed was really fast. Master's really amazing. Lan Xinyin has been cultivating for several days without any progress, but Master has already successfully broken through. In this way, Master is now in the same realm as Lan Xinyin. Xiaohei's eyes flashed with excitement. Lan Xinyin had always felt that her cultivation was higher than Master's, so she was very proud. Now that Master had caught up in such a short time, Lan Xinyin had nothing to be proud of. Their cultivation has reached the same realm, but Lan Xinyan's combat strength is definitely incomparable to Master's. I'm looking forward to the end of the cultivation in the Divine Pond of Ice and Snow. Once we get out, it will be really exciting. Xiao Bai's face was filled with an attitude of wanting to see the world in chaos. This kind of good show was something that he had been looking forward to for a long time. Compared to Di Beichen and the others' happiness, Lan Xinyan's face became extremely ugly. She had already expected that Bailey Hongzhuang would be able to break through to level 9 Blue Realm with the help of the Divine Pond of Ice and Snow, but this speed was still somewhat beyond her expectations. All along, with the help of the Rainbow Sacred Pearl, her cultivation talent was much stronger than ordinary cultivators. However, after meeting Bailey Hongzhuang, she felt that Bailey Hongzhuang's breakthrough speed was really terrifying. Thinking back to the Battle of Zhuolu, Bailey Hongzhuang's cultivation was much lower than hers by several levels. At that time, it was not difficult for her to kill Bailey Hongzhuang. Now, facing Bailey Hongzhuang again, she no longer had the same confidence as before. This breakthrough speed was not only her, but also Di Beichen and Mo Yunjue could not be compared to Bailey Hongzhuang. Could it be that when Bailey Hongzhuang broke through, she didn't consider the impact of a rapid breakthrough on her foundation? Lan Xinyan's mind was constantly pondering. If this was the case, then it would be the best. However, judging from Bailey Hongzhuang's fighting strength, this possibility was obviously not high. The other 4 disciples of the Lan family also had extremely ugly expressions. During this period, they've been desperately absorbing the energy. Not to mention that their cultivation speed could not keep up with Bailey Hongzhuang and Lan Xinyin. Di Beichen and Mo Yunjue's cultivation speed could not be kept up with. The most speechless thing was that they could only compete with these 3 contracted beasts. This was really too depressing. It was already very miraculous that contracted beasts could absorb the energy of the Divine Pond of Ice and Snow. However, these 3 contracted beasts could cultivate so easily, which made people even more speechless. Compared to the confidence they had before entering the Divine Pond of Ice and Snow, the current situation really gave Lan Xinyin and the others a resounding slap. Chapter 2701. Boom! The water from the Divine Pond of Ice and Snow suddenly surged up and surrounded Bailey Hongzhuang, stirring up waves. Everyone's gaze fell on Bailey Hongzhuang. At this moment, Bailey Hongzhuang's aura had successfully reached Blue Realm Level 9. Bailey Hongzhuang slowly opened her eyes, and a smile slowly appeared on her lips. Sure enough, I've successfully broken through. Thinking back to the time when she broke through so quickly, she had been controlling it these days. She didn't want the rapid progress to affect her foundation. However, after absorbing the power of the Divine Pond of Ice and Snow, she didn't have to worry anymore. This was because the power of the Divine Pond of Ice and Snow could remove the impurities in a cultivator's body and Dantian. Turning her head, Bailey Hongzhuang saw Di Beichen and Mo Yunjue's joyful smiles. I finally caught up to your progress. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curled into a smile. Your progress is too fast. If we don't work hard, I'm afraid we'll be left behind by you in the future. Mo Yunjue joked. Wife, congratulations. Di Beichen's face was also full of smiles. Bailey Hongzhuang's progress was really delightful. Lan Xinyin looked at Bailey Hongzhuang with an unfriendly gaze. The Divine Pond of Ice and Snow of the Lan family had helped Bailey Hongzhuang break through to Blue Realm Level 9. Thinking about it, she felt it was very ironic. Bailey Hongzhuang turned her gaze to Lan Qingyan. In fact, Lan Qingyan's burning gaze was really hard to ignore. Young Master Lan, the power of the divine pond of ice and snow is really magical. This time, I've really benefited from the Lan family. Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curled into a playful smile as she spoke slowly. Hearing this, Lan Qingyan's face couldn't help but turn cold. She was already extremely unhappy, but now she was extremely depressed. Looking at Bailey Hongzhuang's smiling face, Lan Qingyan felt that there was nothing more disgusting than this face. Unfortunately, there was nothing she could do to Bailey Hongzhuang. In the next moment, Lan Qingyan angrily closed her eyes. The only thing she was better than Bailey Hongzhuang in was her cultivation. If her cultivation was also caught up by Bailey Hongzhuang, then she really had no right to be proud. Bailey Hongzhuang, Bewitching, and the others looked at each other. After revealing a smile of understanding, they went back into seclusion. During this month, they needed to work hard to break through to the Purple Realm, so they didn't want to waste any time. During this period of time, Bewitching and Mo Yunjue had already overcome the chill of the divine pond of ice and snow. Their speed of absorbing energy was gradually increasing. Although there was still a gap between them and Bailey Hongzhuang and Lan Qingyan, who used a secret technique, this gap wasn't too big. However, breaking through to the Purple Realm wasn't an easy task. The time it took was also much longer than breaking through to the Purple Realm. 20 days passed in the blink of an eye. As the end of the day approached, the atmosphere in the divine pond of ice and snow became more and more solemn. Breaking through the bottleneck of the Purple Realm was really too difficult. Even after absorbing so much energy, it was still not enough for everyone to break through. The energy in the pond water was much weaker than before. It could be seen that there wasn't much energy left in the divine pond of ice and snow. Now, it could be said that this place was unusually quiet. Both sides didn't talk at all and began to race against time. Chapter 2702. There was still a certain gap between the three beasts and Bailey Hongzhuang. With the abundant energy in the divine pond of ice, their breakthroughs were also extremely fast. While Bailey Hongzhuang and Lan Qingyan were fighting, the three beasts were also competing to see who could increase their strength the most in the same amount of time. Therefore, the three beasts were also very happy. Once one of them broke through, the other two would also break through. Lan Qingyan and the others were completely speechless at this situation. Bailey Hongzhuang was already so abnormal, but they didn't expect that even Bailey Hongzhuang's contracted beasts were also so abnormal. Without thinking, it was certain that Bailey Hongzhuang was the one who gained the most from the divine pond of ice this time. Bailey Hongzhuang not only broke through to the 9th level of the Blue Realm, but Bailey Hongzhuang's three contracted beasts also had a great increase in strength. At the same time, the three cultivators of the Lan family also successfully broke through. Outside the divine pond of ice, there were people from the Lan family guarding it every day. They were very familiar with the aura of breakthroughs coming from inside. So far, no one has broken through to the Purple Realm. Lan Jingquang asked the guard. Based on the secret technique he had taught Lan Qingyan must have absorbed the most energy. If someone broke through to the Purple Realm, Lan Qingyan should be the first. The guard nodded. There are other auras of breakthroughs, but there are no signs of anyone breaking through to the Purple Realm. Hearing this, Lan Jingquang frowned. Whether Lan Qingyan could break through to the Purple Realm this time was also very important. Master Quang, with the young master's cultivation talent, she can definitely break through to the Purple Realm. Lan Kaiqing spoke slowly, but there was a trace of worry in the depths of his eyes. She must break through to the Purple Realm. Only then can we have a reason to propose for her to take the position of the family head. Lan Jingquang's face was gloomy. His dark and malicious eyes flickered with anxiety and annoyance. Now that Lan Hongtai had begun to watch his every move, this feeling made him very unhappy. As long as Lan Qingyan worked hard and ascended to the position of clan head, then he would have nothing to fear. Master Quang, you've already taught the young master the secret technique. Most of the energy in the divine pond of ice and snow will be absorbed by the young master. It should be enough for him to break through to the purple realm. Logically speaking, this kind of secret technique was generally not taught because there was a certain level of fairness between the Lan family's disciples. However, the current situation was different from before, so they used it. That Bailey Hongzhuang is very strange, and Di Beichin and Mo Yunjue are not easy to deal with either. No one can say for sure what will happen. Lan Jingquang was obviously not as optimistic as Lan Kaiqing thought. Judging from Bailey Hongzhuang's attitude when she came to the Lan family, he felt that Bailey Hongzhuang did not come with good intentions. With their status, it's not strange for them to have such means. However, we're the most familiar with the divine pond of ice and snow. Hearing this, Lan Jingquang nodded and said to the guard, "If anyone breaks through to the purple realm, inform me immediately." Yes. However, not long after Lan Jingquang left, Lan Borong also came to the divine pond of ice and asked the same question. "Lin Feng, thank you so much for these days." Chapter 2703. Ever since he took the rejuvenation pill, Lan Yunxiao's appearance had returned to that of a 20-year-old. Just like when he was in high spirits in the Lan family, an outstanding temperament was evident in every part of his body. Yu Linfeng looked at the glowing Lan Yunxiao and felt as if he had returned to 20 years ago. Back then, it was this Lan Yunxiao who had given him the only warmth in the cold and heartless Lan family. Now that he thought about it, he was filled with emotion. If it wasn't for you back then, I would have lost my life. Being able to help you now is already something that makes me very happy. Why should I thank you? Yu Linfeng's face was filled with a spring breeze smile. He had always felt that someone like Yu Linfeng should be an all-powerful existence. More than 10 years of torture had left many scars in Lan Yunxiao's heart, but he felt that the Lan Yunxiao in front of him now had an indescribable temperament and determination compared to 19 years ago. What I did back then was nothing more than a slight effort. Now that you're helping me, it's incomparable to what I did back then. Lan Yunxiao shook his head. With his power in the Lan family back then, it would have been easy for him to protect Yu Linfeng's life. However, Yu Linfeng was risking a certain amount of risk to help him. In comparison, Yu Linfeng was truly sending charcoal in snowy weather. What you're feeling now is exactly what I felt back then. Since you treat me as a brother, then there's no need for such pleasantries. When we go to Blue Sun City this time, you must take back everything that belongs to you. Help me teach Lan Jingquang a lesson while you're at it. Yu Linfeng was full of smiles, and his voice revealed a carefree and heroic feeling. To him, the Lan family was already a thing of the past. He didn't care about it anymore because he didn't have any feelings for the Lan family to begin with. However, Lan Yunxiao was different. The Lan family was Lan Yunxiao's home. There were too many things that Lan Yunxiao couldn't bear to part with there. Don't worry, my so-called brother should also be punished. Lan Yunxiao's eyes gradually sharpened with a hidden sharpness. From her crazy love with Lan Jing, to the shocking betrayal, to the final torture and humiliation. If he hadn't been able to see Lan Jingquang's true colors back then, now he had seen through everything. He couldn't forgive Lan Jingquang, because once he did, he would be letting down all the pain he'd endured all these years. He would also be letting down Mu Lingbing and Yishuan. Noticing the change in Lan Yunxiao's expression, Yu Linfeng suddenly understood that the current Lan Yunxiao was different from 20 years ago. He was still as elegant and refined as before. However, compared to his previous benevolence, there was now a hint of ruthlessness and decisiveness. And such a change was definitely not a bad thing. If Lan Yunxiao had been this ruthless back then, he wouldn't have been persecuted to this extent by Lan Jingquang. Mu Lingbing and Nangong Wu stood together, gazing at the lush greenery at the foot of the mountain, their hearts filled with indescribable emotions. After so many years, she was finally going to head to Blue Sun City again. Lingbing, you have to take care of yourself on this trip. Nangong Wu's face was full of smiles, her eyes brimming with blessings. Hong Zhuang is already waiting for you in Blue Sun City. I'm afraid the Lan family is about to experience a great upheaval. Chapter 2704. They had inexplicably caused Bailey Hong Zhuang to suffer for so many years. Along the way, she had cut her way through thistles and thorns and experienced all kinds of hardships just to rescue them. As her parents, they had never done anything for Bailey Hong Zhuang. But now, they were going to clear Bailey Hong Zhuang's name, find her real name, and take back everything that belonged to her. Nangong Wu's smile deepened when she saw the confidence in Mu Lingbing's eyes. She admired Mu Lingbing and Lan Yunxiao, but also envied them at the same time. After so many years, they were still able to walk down this path with such determination. I originally wanted to go with you, but Lin Feng said this is your family's matter and it's not convenient for us to participate, so we won't go. However, if the Lan family really stands on Lan Jingquang's side, as long as you need our limitless palace's strength, we will definitely appear at the first moment. Nangong Wu's bright face flashed with determination. Limitless Palace was now their true ally. As long as they needed help, they definitely wouldn't refuse. Hearing this, Mu Jintze also smiled. Thank you, no matter what it is. She never thought that Nangong Wu and Yu Linfeng would be so generous in helping her. Her heart was filled with gratitude. Perhaps, after experiencing the heart-wrenching betrayal of their loved ones, receiving such unreserved help gave them an indescribable feeling of relief and sorrow. Good sisters, there's no need to say more. What's more, your precious daughter is my good disciple. This friendship will not fade for the rest of my life. Lan Yunxiao and Mu Lingbing stood together and said to Yu Linfeng and Mu Jintze, "Farewell. I'll be waiting for your good news." Abruptly turning around, the golden morning sun shone on Lan Yunxiao and Mu Lingbing, adding a touch of brilliance to their departure. This time, they were leaving so that they could meet again. On the 27th day, a ripple suddenly appeared in the calm divine pond of ice. Following that, an extremely terrifying aura suddenly erupted. Sensing this movement, Bailey Hong Zhuang couldn't help but open her eyes and look in the direction of the explosion. Di Beichen's eyes were closed, and his hands were in a seal in front of his chest. He was like a magnet, and the energy in the divine pond of ice and snow was continuously being absorbed by him. The pool of water surged towards Di Beichen like a whirlpool, wrapping around him. Upon seeing this, Bailey Hong Zhuang's deep eyes lit up. Di Beichen was about to break through to the purple realm. Back then, Di Beichen had been stuck in this realm for a long time. Now, with the help of the divine pond of ice and snow, he was finally about to break through. Once he broke through to the purple realm, it would truly be a whole new world. Lan Xingyan looked at Di Beichen, who was in the process of breaking through, and a touch of admiration emerged in her heart. Originally, with Di Beichen's cultivation, he was already one of the most outstanding people in the younger generation. Now that he had broken through to the purple realm, his status was even more obvious. However, after seeing Bailey Hong Zhuang, who was full of smiles, Lan Xingyan's expression turned cold again. She was jealous of Bailey Hong Zhuang. Ouyang Etienne and Di Beichen were on the same level. If she was together with Ouyang Etienne, wouldn't she be doomed to be suppressed by Bailey Hong Zhuang forever? However, Bailey Hong Zhuang's attention fell on Mo Yunjue. Chapter 2705. This clearly didn't fit Mo Yunjue's personality. Even if the person breaking through was Di Beichen, he wouldn't feel jealous. Vaguely, Bailey Hong Zhuang sensed that Mo Yunjue's aura, which had always been steady, was fluctuating slightly. Master, I feel that Mo Yunjue's aura seems to have strengthened as well. Baisher followed Bailey Hong Zhuang's gaze and looked at Mo Yunjue. As a beast king, he was very sensitive to auras. He could sense even the slightest fluctuation. Hearing Baisher's words, Bailey Hong Zhuang's smile widened. It seems that we have the same idea. Whether it was Di Beichen or Mo Yunjue, both of them were very accomplished in cultivation. Thinking back to the Battle of Zhuolu, The two of them often broke through at the same time. It was obvious that their talents were similar. Now that Bewitching had begun to break through to the purple realm, Unwavering was probably not far away. "Master, how are you doing?" Seeing that Bewitching and Unwavering were about to break through to the purple realm, Xiaohei couldn't help but ask about Bailey Hongzhuang's situation. Bailey Hongzhuang shrugged. "I'm still some distance away from breaking through to the purple realm. It took me a lot of time to break through to the 9th level of the blue realm. I'm afraid it'll be difficult for me to break through to the purple realm before the end of the Divine Pond of Ice." Even so, Bailey Hongzhuang didn't reveal the slightest bit of dispiritedness on her face. Long before she came to the Divine Pond of Ice, she had already expected this result. Even if she couldn't break through to the purple realm, she wouldn't be far away from it. After all, she had absorbed a lot of energy. Speaking of which, this was all thanks to the demon summoning scripture. Otherwise, the difference would be even greater. No matter what, we have already gained a lot from this trip. Seeing that the three beasts were a little disappointed, Bailey Hongzhuang reached out and patted the heads of the three beasts. Her delicate and elegant face was brimming with a faint, radiant smile. Lan Qingyan also heard Bailey Hongzhuang's words, and her heart was suddenly filled with joy. She didn't care if the others could break through to the purple realm. What she cared about was Bailey Hongzhuang. "Young master, Bewitching has successfully broken through. You should also work hard to break through before the Divine Pond of Ice ends." Seeing this, the Lan clan's disciples couldn't help but look at Lan Qingyan anxiously. They were all from the same faction as Lan Qingyan. Before they entered the Divine Ice Lake, Master Kuang had already told them his plan. Only when Lan Qingyan successfully broke through to the Purple Realm and left the Divine Ice Lake would Master Kuang be able to push Lan Qingyan to the position of clan head. Lan Qingyan's brows slightly wrinkled, and her expression showed some dissatisfaction. "I know. It's useless even if you rush me. Don't I want to break through as soon as possible?" Hearing Lan Qingyan's scolding, the four disciples looked at each other and then lowered their heads. "However, I can feel that I'm not far away from breaking through to the purple realm." As soon as these words came out, the eyes of the four disciples shone brightly. The commotion caused by the 9th level of the blue realm breaking through to the purple realm could be said to be huge. Therefore, the Lan clan's disciples guarding the gate had already sensed it at the first moment. Soon, this news had already reached the ears of Lan Jingquang and Lan Hongtai. Master Kuang, the young master, must have successfully broken through to the purple realm. Chapter 2706. Although Lan Jingquang's face didn't change much, he still couldn't help but sigh in relief. It's too early to be happy. Although someone broke through to the purple realm, it's still hard to say who did it. I think the young master has the highest chance of breaking through. Bewitching and Unwavering had to spend a lot of effort just to restrain the cold air. Their absorption speed can't compare to the young master's. As for Bailey Hongzhuang, she was only at the 8th level of the blue realm when she went in. That's even more impossible. I think the person who broke through to the 9th level of the blue realm was her. But to break through to the purple realm so quickly, that's a fantasy. Lan Kaiqing was more optimistic. Combining all the circumstances, Lan Qingyan had the highest chance of breaking through. After all, with the Rainbow Pearl, Lan Qingyan's cultivation talent had always been incomparable to ordinary people. Lan Jingquang nodded and said, "Inform our people. When Qingyan comes out of the Divine Pond of Ice, we should prepare." He had a bad feeling about Bailey Hongzhuang's appearance, so he had to cut the Gordian knot quickly to avoid any more trouble. "Okay, I'll contact them immediately. This time, the young master will definitely become the head of the house." Lan Hongtai couldn't help but frown after hearing the news. According to his judgment, Bailey Hongzhuang had the lowest chance of breaking through to the purple realm. Is there any movement on Jingquang's side? Master Kuang and the others seemed to be waiting for the young master to come out and then recommend the young master to become the head of the house. This can be seen from their recent frequent contact. Moreover, according to the news I received, Master Kwong has taught the young master how to quickly absorb the energy in the pond. So the person with the highest chance of breaking through to the purple realm is the young master. Lan Borong looked at the expressionless Lan Hongtai in front of him, and a hint of worry appeared between his brows. Head of the house, once the young master breaks through to the purple realm, Master Kwong arranged for everyone to propose the young master to become the head of the house. I'm afraid we can't refuse. Lan Xingyin had been the young master of the Lan family for many years. Everyone had already recognized her as the future head of the house. In fact, before Bailey Hongzhuang appeared, they also thought so. Looks like Bailey Hongzhuang's appearance has really put a lot of pressure on Jing Kwong. Lan Hongtai sighed, but didn't say anything. Looking at Lan Hongtai's expression, Lan Borong couldn't help wondering what the patriarch meant. Patriarch, what do you mean? Before that, I have to get to the bottom of the most important truth. With that, Lan Hongtai walked out of the room. Looking at Lan Hongtai's tall but somewhat weathered back, Lan Borong suddenly understood. After 3 days, the situation would be a little complicated, just as Bailey Hongzhuang predicted. After Bewitching successfully broke through, Imo Yunjue also began to break through. Yunju is really unwilling to lose to me at all. Bewitching looked at Imo Yunjue beside him, who was trying his best to break through to the purple realm. His lips curved into a sunny smile. Although he said that, he wasn't the least bit unhappy. On the contrary, he was filled with deep admiration. Based on the situation of your cultivation, you really are like a pair of brothers. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled and sighed. These two's cultivation was exactly the same. Chapter 2707. Following the news of the second person breaking through to the purple realm, the smile on Lan Jingquang's face deepened. If there was only one person who broke through to the purple realm, he couldn't be sure if it was Lan Xingyan. But now that there was a second person, he didn't have to worry. He believed that one of the two was Lan Xingyan. Master Kwong, we can be completely at ease now. Our plan can begin immediately. Lan Kaiching's face was full of smiles. They had waited for so long just to get a definite answer. They couldn't delay the matter of electing Lan Xingyan as the young master any longer. Only when Lan Xingyan became the family head could they truly be at ease. As long as there is a new family head, the old family head's status and influence will weaken a lot. That way we can be at ease. Third Elder Lan Yongtai followed up. How's the investigation of Bailey Hongzhuang's identity? Is there still no progress? Lan Jingquang frowned slightly. With their Lan family strength, it shouldn't be difficult to find out a person's background. However, the resistance they encountered when investigating Bailey Hongzhuang was much greater than he expected. Lan Kaiching shook his head helplessly. All we could find was the simplest news. It's nothing more than Bailey Hongzhuang passing the competition and becoming a Tiangang sect disciple. As for how Bailey Hongzhuang became the young palace master of Limitless Palace, it seems to have happened out of thin air. There's no clue at all. Whether Bailey Hongzhuang is related to Lan Yunxiao or not, you can't find out. Lan Hongtai nodded. There's no news at all. It's as if it doesn't exist. Master Kwong, Limitless Palace has only been established for a short dozen years. When the incident happened, Limitless Palace didn't exist yet. Logically speaking, Lan Yunxiao wouldn't hand Bailey Hongzhuang over to someone from Limitless Palace to raise. Moreover, the Palace Master of Limitless Palace is a self-reliant person who suddenly made a name for herself. Lan Yunxiao should know her. Lan Kaiching looked at Lan Jingquang tentatively. Could this be just a coincidence? In reality, other than the fact that Bailey Hongzhuang and Lan Yunxiao's appearance were extremely similar, nothing else could link her to Lan Yunxiao. Lan Jingquang looked at Lan Kaicheng and Lan Yongtai in front of him. After a moment of silence, he said, "It's not bad news that we can't find anything. If we can't find anything, I'm sure the master can't find anything either. Even if he thinks so, it's useless." That's right. Old Master has always been concerned about Lan Yunxiao, but it's meaningless. Moreover, even if Bailey Hongzhuang was really Lan Yunxiao's daughter, the old family head couldn't recommend her as the new family head. That Bailey Hongzhuang doesn't have any foundation in the Lan family. A smile appeared on Lan Kaicheng's face. They didn't care about what happened to Bailey Hongzhuang. As long as Lan Qingyan successfully broke through to the Purple Realm, they could ignore everything else. Lan Jingquang's lips slowly curved into a smile. Bailey Hongzhuang won't exist in this world for much longer. Yu Siqing had already told him a few days ago that the poison was already prepared. Chapter 2708. Thinking of Bailey Hongzhuang's arrogant appearance at the luncheon, Lan Jingquang felt unhappy. Whether it was her attitude or her face that was similar to Lan Yunxiao and Mu Lingbing's, it all made him unhappy from the bottom of his heart. The older the ginger, the spicier it was. It was simply impossible for Bailey Hongzhuang to fight with him. Hearing Lan Jingquang's sinister and ruthless words, Lan Kaicheng and Lan Yontai looked at each other and smiled. No matter what, they were on the right side. Once this matter was settled, they wouldn't have to worry about the rest of their days. Get ready. Take the initiative to propose to the patriarch tomorrow, Lan Jingquang said slowly in a deep voice. We're proposing before the young master comes out. Lan Yontai asked in surprise. Lan Jingquang nodded. To avoid trouble, we'll propose before Qingyan comes out. As long as Qingyan breaks through to the Purple Realm, the patriarch won't be able to find a reason to refute. In this way, we can hold the ceremony soon after Qingyan comes out. Hearing this, Lan Yontai and Lan Kaicheng looked at each other. Although this situation was out of their expectations, it wouldn't be a problem to bring it forward. Yes, Patriarch, Master Quang, and the others can't hold back anymore. I just got the news that they're going to propose to you tomorrow to let the young master become the patriarch. Lan Borong's brows furrowed tightly, revealing a hint of annoyance. Currently, there were still many things that they didn't know, but Lan Jingquang clearly saw through this and wasn't willing to give them any time. A faint smile appeared on Lan Hongtai's face, but there was an unfathomable meaning in it. This is in line with his personality. He feels threatened and can't wait to control everything in his own hands. But if that's the case, what should we do? Seeing that Lan Hongtai wasn't anxious at all, Lan Borong couldn't help but worry. We don't have any reason to stop their proposal. Lan Hongtai looked at Lan Borong indifferently and smiled. Do you think that if Bailey Hongzhuang is really Yun Zhao's child, she will care about everything in the Lan family? Hearing this, Lan Borong couldn't help but be surprised. He didn't understand what Lan Hongtai meant. Right now, she's already the young palace master of Limitless Palace. Her identity and background are not much weaker than our Lan family. I think this child came to the Lan family for revenge, not for the Lan family. Lan Hongtai sighed faintly. Back then, Lan Yunxiao had never considered the Lan family as something he needed. He only wanted to protect his own family with all his might. Lan Yunxiao and Lan Jingquang had completely different ideas from the start. As Lan Hongtai's voice fell, Lan Borong's body shook, but his eyes revealed a look of realization. Indeed, the patriarch had already seen through this. If Bailey Hongzhuang really had that identity, then she wouldn't be reluctant to leave this family that was riddled with holes and had hurt her so much in the past. Patriarch, what do you mean? Let them be. If it's his, it'll be his sooner or later. If it's not his, it'll be useless no matter how hard he tries. Chapter 2709. If it weren't for this responsibility, he wouldn't have swallowed his pride back then. He had paid too much for this responsibility, so it wasn't a bad thing to give it up. At least, when he was about to give up, he met a child who gave him hope. When Lan Yunxiao and Mu Lingbing returned to Blue Sun City and saw the city that was somewhat similar to the past, yet different in every way, an indescribable sigh rose in their hearts. After nearly 20 years, they had returned to their homeland. Even though Blue Sun City had changed a lot in these 20 years, they could still vaguely see its original appearance. This place was the most complicated place in their hearts. When they first lived here, they only felt a sense of familiarity from every part of the city. When they left, bathed in blood, this city was so merciless and cruel. Now that they were back, they only felt a little apathetic. Mu Lingbing trembled. Although she had already expected this, she still couldn't help but tremble when she saw it with her own eyes. The scene before she left was a pain she would never forget for the rest of her life. Lan Yunxiao tightened his grip on Mu Lingbing's hand. "I'm here." His simple words brought a smile to Mu Lingbing's face. "Father and mother are staying in the restaurant over there. Let's go meet them." Lan Yunxiao nodded. "Okay." The two of them looked like they were in their 20s, and with the disguise technique Bailey Hongzhuang had taught them, no one would notice them. Soon, Lan Yunxiao and the others met at the restaurant. Bing Yunxiao. When Mu Jin's saw the two of them, a deep smile appeared on her face. "A month's time is almost up, but I didn't see you coming. I was worried you wouldn't make it, but you're finally here." Hearing this, Mu Lingbing smiled. "We want to increase our strength, so we've been staying in Limitless Palace for a longer period of time." Situ Yin sized up Lan Yunxiao and Mu Lingbing with a look of shock in his eyes. "Your strength actually increased by so much in such a short time." Lan Yunxiao and Mu Lingbing were originally cultivation geniuses, and their reputations were already extremely resounding 19 years ago. Back then, Lan Jing couldn't win against Lan Yunxiao because of his strength. However, after so many years, Lan Yunxiao and Mu Lingbing hadn't had the chance to continue cultivating. Although they recovered quickly, they had made great progress recently. Lan Yunxiao nodded. "We've already used all the methods at our disposal. Only by increasing my strength can I face Lan Jingquang properly." When he was dealing with Lan Jingquang, the elders of the Lan clan stood in front of him. He didn't believe that the elders of the Lan family would stand in front of Lan Jingquang again. Mu Jin's and Situ Yin looked at each other. Their greatest enmity was the Yu family, while the Lan family was the greatest pain in Lan Yunxiao's heart. It was normal for him to do this for this day. "It's good that you're here. In 2 days, the divine pond of ice and snow will end. Hongzhuang and the others will also come out." Situ Yin patted Lan Yunxiao's shoulder. He understood what the latter was thinking. Chapter 27:10. The Lan family's recent movements aren't small. I heard that 2 auras of breaking through to the purple realm have been released from the divine ice pond. One of them is very likely Lan Qingyan. Lan Jingquang and the rest are preparing to make Lan Qingyan the patriarch seat once she leaves the divine ice pond. They've been busy recently. It seems they're already preparing the things needed for the ceremony. It seems Lan Jingquang is full of confidence. Situ Yin slowly told them the news they gathered. Lan Jingquang didn't seem to have any intention of hiding such a big commotion. Thus, they only needed a little understanding to know about this. Because of this, the Yu family is also very happy, Mu Jin said faintly. Hearing this, Lan Yunxiao chuckled. "It seems like we came at the right time." Back then, Lan Jingquang racked his brains to betray the Lan family in order to sit on the patriarch seat. He didn't expect that after 19 years, he would be able to attend Lan Qingyan's ascension ceremony. Fate was truly wondrous. Situ Yin and the other 3 exchanged glances with each other before a smile appeared on their faces. In their eyes, this was a ceremony to welcome Lan Yunxiao and Mu Lingbing's return rather than a celebration of Lan Qingyan becoming the Lan family's patriarch. Lan Jingquang definitely didn't expect you all to return to the Lan family. The happier you are now, the more wonderful your expressions will be on that day. Mu Jin's voice was filled with indescribable coldness. That wretched man dared to treat her daughter and son-in-law like this. Now that they were back, she wouldn't let Lan Jingquang have a good time. 19 years ago, she wasn't able to protect her daughter, son-in-law, and granddaughter. 19 years later, if those shameless fellows from the Lan family still dared to protect Lan Jingquang, then she would destroy the entire Lan family. A family that couldn't distinguish right from wrong didn't need to exist. "I heard Yu Siqing and the rest live nearby." Mu Lingbing looked at Mu Jin's with concern. She must be the person Mu Jin's cared about the most. Mu Jin's nodded. On the day of the ceremony, Yu Siqing will also appear. As soon as he said this, Everyone understood what was going on. That day, Mu Lingbing and Lan Yunxiao's appearance was a huge blow to Lan Jingquang's head, and Situ Yin and Mu Jin's appearance was an unbearable blow to Yu Siqing. Now, we just have to wait for the divine pond of ice to end. The four of them looked at each other and smiled. After enduring for so many years, they had finally waited for this day. Divine pond of ice and snow. After Lan Xingyin saw that Mo Yunjue had also broken through, her expression could not help but become complicated. A cultivator needed a lot of energy to break through to the purple realm. After Mo Yunjue absorbed the energy in the divine pond of ice and snow was greatly reduced. If she didn't break through soon, it would be too late. When she thought about how she would face Lan Jingquang's furious gaze if she didn't break through to the purple realm, her heart trembled. She definitely couldn't let such a thing happen again. Otherwise, she had no doubt that Lan Jingquang would teach her a lesson. Bailey Hongzhuang was also a diligent cultivator. To her, it didn't matter if she could break through to the purple realm. As long as she could increase her strength, it would be extremely good. Chapter 27:11. In the blink of an eye, it was the last day in the divine pond of ice. The energy in the divine pond of ice was no longer as dense as before. Instead, it had gradually turned into the color of clear water. As expected, the energy in the divine pond of ice could only support cultivators for a month. Once the time limit was exceeded, the energy would not be enough to support them. If it was in the past, even if a month was up, there would still be a certain amount of energy in the divine pond of ice. However, there were too many cultivators entering the divine ice altar this time. Therefore, the positive energy was completely exhausted. It's almost time. We will leave at dawn. Di Beichun raised his head and looked at the sky. In another 4 hours, it would be the second day. Hearing this, Bailey Hongzhuang nodded. A complicated light flashed in her deep and bright eyes. Once they left the divine pond of ice, it would be time for the show to begin. Thinking about it, her parents should have already met up with her grandparents and were waiting for her to appear. Compared to Bailey Hongzhuang and the other two who were relaxed, Lan Xingyin and the 4 disciples of the Lan family had an ugly expression on their faces. It was already the final moment. If the young man still could not break through to the purple realm, then the situation they would face after leaving the divine ice altar of ice made their scalps tingle. Lan Xingyin closed her eyes and tried her best to absorb the remaining energy in the divine pond of ice. She could feel that she was only a step away from breaking through. She had to grasp this opportunity. Otherwise, if she missed it, she would not be able to face her father. The 4 disciples of the Lan family were the same. They looked at Lan Xingyin nervously, hoping that a miracle would happen. It seems that your appearance this time brought a lot of pressure to Lan Xingyin. Di Beichun looked at the nervous Lan Xingyin and turned to Bailey Hongzhuang. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled. Letting her feel the pressure earlier is also a good thing, isn't it? After leaving the divine pond of ice, I'm afraid the pressure on her will be even greater. Although she was cultivating, Lan Xingyin could still hear the conversation between Di Beichun and Bailey Hongzhuang. This made her feel an indescribable sense of humiliation. She, Lan Xingyin, had stepped on so many talented cultivators since she was young. However, this Bailey Hongzhuang who suddenly appeared and suppressed her. This was already unbearable. Now, Bailey Hongzhuang dared to mock her. She was a true genius. A genius with the rainbow divine pearl. How could he let Bailey Hongzhuang, this unknown despicable villain, step on his head? Thinking of this, an indescribable anger exploded in Lan Xingyin's heart. However, it caused a slight change in the bottleneck that had never loosened. The sky gradually brightened, and Bailey Hongzhuang and the others came out of the ice-snow divine pond. After staying in the divine pond of ice for so long, they weren't as fearful of the cold energy as they were before. Conversely, they'd become much more accustomed to it. Let's go, Di Beichun said. Bailey Hongzhuang nodded slightly. She could feel that the door to the ice-snow divine altar had been opened and was waiting for them to leave. The four disciples of the Lan family could not help but look at Lan Qingyan. Until now, Lan Qingyan had not broken through. Once she left, they would not be able to explain themselves. Chapter 27:12. She had already disappointed Lan Jingquang once during the Battle of Zhuolu. If she disappointed Lan Jingquang again this time, the consequences would be unimaginable. When she thought about how she would face Lan Jingquang's enraged face when she went out, she lost her courage. In fact, she had absorbed so much energy. Logically speaking, there should be no problem for her to break through to the Purple Realm. However, she clearly felt the bottleneck loosening, but she was still unable to take the last step. She did not dare to go out, nor was she willing to go out. Thus, Lan Qingyan closed her eyes tightly and remained in the Divine Ice Pond, unwilling to come out. Bailey Hongzhuang and the others saw Lan Qingyan's situation and couldn't help but look at each other. Their expressions were filled with confusion. Lan Qingyan is afraid that she won't be able to break through to the Purple Realm and will embarrass herself when she goes out. Is that why she's staying like this? Xiaohei was a little puzzled. The time was already up. To continue staying here was a little ridiculous. Who knows? If she hasn't broken through, then so be it. She can just continue to cultivate after she goes out. There's not much energy left in the Divine Ice Pond. What's the use of her staying here? With Lan Qingyan's arrogant and vain personality, it's normal that she doesn't want to go out now. Moreover, Lan Jingquang is not someone easy to deal with, Bai Shi said slowly. Lan Qingyan, if you don't go, we'll go out first, Bailey Hongzhuang said to Lan Qingyan. However, Lan Qingyan did not have any reaction. Seeing this, Bailey Hongzhuang and Deep Beichen looked at each other and decided to leave first. After all, Lan Qingyan was originally a member of the Lan family. She could stay here for as long as she wanted. However, if they continue to stay here, it would not be appropriate. She did not want to give Lan Jingquang any chance to find fault with her. As Bailey Hongzhuang and the others walked out of the Divine Ice Pond, the four disciples of the Lan family hesitated for a moment. They did not know what to do and could only stay with Lan Qingyan. Early in the morning, Lan Jingquang and the elders of the Lan family were already waiting outside the Ice Snow Divine Pond. Lan Jingquang and the others all had smiles on their faces. 2 days ago, they had already mentioned this matter to the Patriarch. Although the Patriarch's face still showed signs of unwillingness, the Patriarch had no reason to refuse, so they had already prepared the ceremony. They only had to wait for Lan Qingyan, who had broken through to the Purple Realm, to come out. Then, everything would fall into place. Lan Qingyan would soon become the true patriarch of the Lan clan. But after waiting for a while, no one came out. Lan Jingquang and the others couldn't help but frown. Why hasn't anyone come out yet? Could it be that something went wrong? Second, Elder Lan Kaiching's expression changed a little. Logically speaking, nothing should have happened. I don't think so. I didn't hear anything, Third Elder said. Lan Jingquang's eyes were clouded. He couldn't hold it in any longer. Now that everything was ready, he only lacked the east wind. He did not want any trouble to appear at this crucial moment. Just as everyone was waiting anxiously and wanted to go in to investigate, a series of footsteps came from the Divine Ice Snow Divine Pond. Hearing these footsteps, Lan Jingquang and the others relaxed a little. Young Master and the others are coming out, Lan Kaicheng said with a smile. Chapter 27:13. When Bailey Hongzhuang walked out of the Divine Pond of Ice, she saw Lan Jingquang and the other elders of the Lan family already waiting for her. Seeing the joy and anticipation on Lan Jingquang and the others' faces, Bailey Hongzhuang inexplicably felt a bit funny. After all, the anticipation of Lan Jingquang and the others was a stark contrast to Lan Qingyan, who was hiding in the Divine Pond of Ice and didn't dare to come out. When they saw that the first person to come out was Bailey Hongzhuang, Lan Jingquang and the others were surprised. Logically speaking, in their Lan family's territory, the first person to come out should be Lan Qingyan. However, when they realized that Bailey Hongzhuang's aura had stopped at the 9th level of the Blue Realm and hadn't broken through to the 1st level of the Purple Realm, their surprise turned into laughter. Bailey Hongzhuang was weaker than Lan Qingyan. This was definitely something they were happy to see. Then, Di Beichun walked out from behind Bailey Hongzhuang. Di Beichun didn't hide his aura at all. Therefore, Lan Jingquang and the others immediately noticed that Di Beichun had become a Purple Realm Master. So one of the people who broke through to the Purple Realm is Di Beichun. The successor of the Tiangang sect is really something. The Lan family elders couldn't help but sigh. Di Beichun's reputation was well-deserved. However, when Mo Yunjue walked out with the same Purple Realm aura, Lan Jingquang and the others, who were originally very relaxed and happy, couldn't help but change their expressions. Their gazes were fixed on Mo Yunjue and Di Beichun. In the end, they were sure that both of them were in the Purple Realm. Only 2 people broke through to the Purple Realm. If it's Di Beichun and Mo Yunjue, doesn't that mean that the young master hasn't broken through? Third Elder Lan Yongtai's face instantly turned ugly. They had already prepared the ceremony for the young master to be conferred the title of family head. If the young master didn't break through to the Purple Realm, then wouldn't their actions these past few days become a joke? Lan Jingquang's face was ashen. Blue veins popped out near his temples. An indescribable anger rose and fell in his chest, as if he would spit fire at any time. Lan Kaicheng glared at Lan Yongtai. The situation couldn't be more obvious, yet he still deliberately said it. Wasn't he looking for trouble? Lan Yongtai immediately understood and fell into silence. Master Kuang, elders, said Bailey Hongzhuang slowly said. Young master and the others still have some matters to attend to at the Ice Divine Pond. So we came out first. He Hongzhuang zes in the Lan family. For a few days. Stay for a few days. Inzaneta stay for a few family. In's Lan house for a few days. Pawns, into us to be there for a. Even though his plan had been disrupted, he still couldn't let Bailey Hongzhuang leave just like that. Because Yu Siqing still needed to find an opportunity to poison him. Bailey Hongzhuang was a bit surprised. She then smiled and said, "Thank you, Master Kuang." Then, a member of the Lan family led Bailey Hongzhuang and the others to the Lan family residence. Master, Lan Jingquang's attitude is a bit strange. Xiao Hei's eyes brightened. She poked her face and said, "Judging from his attitude before we entered the Ice Divine Pond, he should have wanted us to leave. But now he wants us to stay in the Lan family residence. No matter how I think about it, something's not right." Chapter 27:14. Bailey Hongzhuang was also a shrewd person. Even though Lan Jingquang hid it well, she still smelled the scent of a conspiracy. Whether it was a conspiracy or an open one, as long as it was directed at her, she would deal with it. From the expressions of Lan Jingquang and the others, they must have thought that Lan Qingyan had broken through to the Purple Realm. So our appearance gave them a blow to the head. Di Beichun's black, jade-like eyes were filled with playfulness and wickedness. The corner of his mouth hooked up into a slight smile. He clearly remembered that when they came out, the expressions of the Lan family members did not have time to change. No wonder Lan Qingyan hid in the Divine Pond and didn't dare to come out. If she saw the scene just now, she would be extremely embarrassed. Mo Yunjue shook his head. They had to face what they had to face. It was useless for Lan Qingyan to hide in there. However, with Lan Qingyan's talent, the Rainbow Pearl, and the family's secret technique, it should be enough for her to break through to the Purple Realm. Bailey Hongzhuang pondered. From the expression of Lan Jingquang, she could tell that Lan Jingquang also thought that Lan Qingyan could break through. Thinking about it, even if she hadn't broken through yet, she wasn't far from it. Whether it's Lan Qingyan or you, it's only a matter of time before you break through to the Purple Realm. Di Beichun looked at Bailey Hongzhuang with a smile. Even though many people were stuck at the 9th level of the Blue Realm and couldn't break through, with Bailey Hongzhuang and Lan Qingyan's talent, it wouldn't be a problem for them to break through. Bailey Hongzhuang smiled slightly. The power of the divine pond is very strong. Even though I'm still some distance away from breaking through, I'm not far away. Thinking about it, Lan Xingyin should be closer to breaking through. It's just that the closer it is to the end, the more unstable her state of mind becomes. That's why she hasn't broken through yet. Bailey Hongzhuang saw this very clearly. After all, she spent several days to break through from the 8th level of the Blue Realm to the 9th level of the Blue Realm. Lan Xingyin had more time than her and absorbed more elemental energy than her. After Bailey Hongzhuang and the others left, Lan Jingquang walked into the divine pond of ice and snow without saying a word. Seeing this, Lan Kaicheng and Lan Yongtai also followed. The other elders chose to stay outside. When Lan Jingquang arrived at the ice-snow divine pond, he saw Lan Xingyin with her eyes closed. She was still in the pond, and the 4 Lan clan disciples were standing at the side, not knowing what to do. Seeing Lan Jingquang arrive, the 4 disciples hurriedly lowered their heads and respectfully said, "Greetings, Master Quang, 2nd Elder, 3rd Elder." Lan Jingquang glanced at the 4 of them and ignored them. His gaze fell on Lan Xingyin. Clearly, Lan Xingyin had not broken through to the Purple Realm. Thinking of this, Lan Jingquang could not control the anger in his body. This time, Lan Xingyin made him lose all his face. "What are you still doing here? Come out now." Lan Jing roared. Such a stern and intimidating roar caused the 4 disciples to tremble involuntarily. Lan Xingyin, who was in the pond, also felt the same. She was afraid. She was afraid to face Lan Jingquang like this. If it was another resounding slap, she would not be able to bear it. Do you know what it means that you haven't broken through? Lan Jingquang's anger had not subsided. He had planned for so long, time after time, but all his plans had failed in the hands of Lan Xingyin. Chapter 27:15. Lan Kaicheng and Lan Yongtai didn't say anything when they saw this. In fact, they didn't know how to face the family situation. They couldn't understand why Di Beichen and Mo Yunjue both broke through, but the young master didn't. According to common sense, this didn't make sense at all. Everyone has already prepared the conferring ceremony for you, but you haven't even broken through to the Purple Realm. How will this end? He remembered that before Lan Xingyin entered the Divine Ice Pond, she still vowed that she would definitely break through to the Purple Realm. Lan Xingyin closed her eyes tightly. She didn't have the courage to open her eyes. Her heart was too scared. Seeing that Lan Xingyin still didn't move, Lan Jingquang's anger could no longer be contained. He immediately walked into the pond. This time, he wanted to let Lan Xingyin know the price of failure. Lan Jingquang's words rang in Lan Xingyin's ears and touched her heart. She kept shouting in her heart, "Break through, must break through." If she couldn't break through, then she wouldn't be able to face the embarrassing situation. Just as Lan Jingquang was about to walk in front of Lan Xingyin, suddenly, an aura burst out from Lan Xingyin's body. It was also this aura that stopped Lan Jingquang's outstretched hand. Lan Kaicheng and the others, who originally had ugly expressions, suddenly burst out with joy. The young master was about to break through. That's great. The young master is about to break through. Lan Kaicheng said joyfully. The heavens really don't disappoint those who work hard. Although it's at the last moment, it still gave us a big surprise. Lan Yongtai's face was full of smiles. He no longer had to worry about not being able to face his clansmen. The anger on Lan Jingquang's face gradually dissipated. After he felt that Lan Xingyin was about to break through to the Purple Realm, his expression also eased a little. Fortunately, Lan Xingyin didn't drag him down this time. Bailey Hongzhuang and the other 2 had just returned to their residence when they felt the aura of a breakthrough to the Purple Realm. The 3 couldn't help but look at each other. This wasn't good news, but it wasn't beyond their expectations. "Looks like Lan Xingyin has broken through," Mo Yunjue said slowly. Lan Xingyin's luck is not bad. Previously, she had been hiding and didn't dare to come out, but at this final juncture, she still broke through to the Purple Realm. Bailey Hongzhuang looked indifferent. She spoke as if she was talking about a stranger. Wife, there is a big gap between the 9th level of the Blue Realm and the Purple Realm. Now that Lan Qingyin has broken through to the 1st level of the Purple Realm, it will not be easy for you to defeat her. Di Beichun frowned slightly. He understood Bailey Hongzhuang's thoughts. The latter wanted to prove to everyone that she was not inferior to Lan Qingyin. She definitely wanted to defeat Lan Qingyin. But now that Lan Qingyin had broken through to the Purple Realm, it would not be so easy for Bailey Hongzhuang to deal with her. I will do my best, Bailey Hongzhuang said calmly. In this world, it was impossible for everything to go as she wished. However, even if Lan Qingyin had broken through to the Purple Realm, it did not mean that she had no chance. She had never been a person who gave up easily. Hearing this, Di Beichun didn't say anything more. No matter what Bailey Hongzhuang did, he would always support her. Father and mother should have already reached Blue Sun City. We have to find an opportunity to contact them. Chapter 27:16. After Lan Qingyin successfully broke through to the Purple Realm, she opened her eyes again. There was no longer any fear on her face. On the contrary, she was full of confidence. Father, I broke through, Lan Qingyin said with a smile. Lan Jingquang nodded. His face was once again filled with a loving smile, as if the person who was bristling with anger before was not him. Let's go back first. Everyone is waiting for you. Lan Kaichun and the others were also full of joy as they followed Lan Jingquang out of the divine pond of ice. The worst situation did not happen, so they could rest assured. What? The ceremony to appoint the house head is already prepared? Lan Qingyin could not help but widen her eyes when she heard the news. She did not know that Lan Jingquang and the others would be so fast. She had not even come out of the divine pond of ice and snow, but everything was already prepared. Lan Jingquang nodded. The house head has also agreed. As long as you break through to the Purple Realm, you can inherit the position of house head. This is the best opportunity. There cannot be any more mistakes. It was only at this moment that Lan Qingyin understood why Lan Jingquang was so angry before. She felt a little scared and relieved. Fortunately, she had successfully broken through at the last moment. Otherwise, she would not be able to face such a scene. Thinking of this, Lan Qingyin's face could not help but reveal a joyful smile. Father, I am already at the 1st level of the Purple Realm. What did go wrong? That's right. The ceremony will be held the day after tomorrow. You should prepare well. 2 days later, you will be the true house head of the Lan family. Lan Jingquang patted Lan Qingyin's shoulder and laughed heartily. After so many years, this was the first time he had laughed so happily. Yu Manlin's face was also full of joy. She held Lan Qingyin's hand and said, Qingyin, you really did not disappoint us. You have already reached the 1st level of the Purple Realm at such a young age. In the entire Shengxian continent, there are not many young people who can be compared to you. Lan Qingyin was in a very good mood at this moment. Therefore, she was also full of smiles towards Yu Manlin. Mother, after I become the house head, you will not have to worry in the future. Of course, Mother is the luckiest thing to have given birth to such a precious daughter. Bailey Hongzhuang sent off the Lan family clansmen who came to deliver the news. She turned to look at Di Beichun and Mo Yunjue behind her. I didn't expect Lan Jingquang and the others to be so impatient. They've already prepared the ceremony and even invited us to attend. How interesting. Bailey Hongzhuang chuckled. Her eyes were filled with mockery. No wonder Lan Jingquang's expression was so ugly. She finally understood the reason. Looks like your appearance has really made Lan Jingquang fearful, so he can't wait for Lan Qingyin to sit on the patriarch's seat. Mo Yunjue sighed. Di Beichun rubbed his chin with his right hand. His eyes were deep and wise. Logically speaking, Lan Jingquang should want us to leave as soon as possible. He actually invited us to watch the ceremony. This is really strange. Could it be that Lan Qingyin wants to be arrogant in front of Master? So she did this on purpose? Xiao He asked suspiciously. Bailey Hongzhuang shook her head. It shouldn't be. Lan Qingyin's words carry less weight than Lan Jingquang's. This is most likely Lan Jingquang's decision. Chapter 27:17. The night gradually deepened, and the bright moon hung high in the sky. Bailey Hongzhuang walked in the Lan family's garden. She had to admit that the Lan family's territory was not small. This garden was comparable to the imperial garden of the imperial family. Bewitching had already left the Lan family to meet up with Si Tuyin and the others. Bailey Hongzhuang did not follow. Now that many people in the Lan family were paying attention to her, if she went out and was discovered, it would be troublesome. It would be better to stay here and attract more attention. Bewitching will be back soon. Just as Bailey Hongzhuang was strolling, a white figure suddenly appeared in front of her. Bailey Hongzhuang, you are really in the mood to stroll in the garden here. Could it be that you have not broken through to the purple realm and have given up on yourself because of the blow? Lan Qinyin looked at Bailey Hongzhuang with ridicule. Her gorgeous face was currently surrounded by a confident and proud radiance, like a peacock spreading its tail. Bailey Hongzhuang looked at Lan Qinyin indifferently and said with a smile, "Compared to this morning when you were trembling in fear and didn't dare to see anyone, your current appearance is really different." When these words came out, Lan Qingyin's expression couldn't help but change a little. This morning scene was the last thing she wanted to talk about. "I think you were thinking too much. I was just about to break through, so I stayed in the pool and didn't come out." Lan Qinyin quibbled. She wouldn't let Bailey Hongzhuang use this as an excuse to laugh at her. Bailey Hongzhuang shrugged. "Since you are willing to deceive yourself, why should I expose you? Whatever you say, I'll believe it." Lan Qinyin clearly had the upper hand in this exchange, but after listening to Bailey Hongzhuang's words, Lan Qinyin felt that Bailey Hongzhuang was looking down on her from the bottom of her heart. This kind of feeling made her extremely unhappy. She clearly had the upper hand now. She had broken through to the purple realm, so why was Bailey Hongzhuang still able to put on a nonchalant expression in front of her? "Bailey Hongzhuang, don't think that you can pose a threat to me with that face of yours. The real Lan Yishuan is already dead, and I am the true master of the Lan family. No matter what schemes and ideas you have, they're all useless here." After breaking through to the purple realm, Lan Qingyin's position in the Lan family was no longer the same as before. The influence caused by the Battle of Zhuolu had completely dissipated with this incident. Lan Qinyin no longer had to be afraid in front of Lan Jingquang. This was because she was going to become the Lan family's patriarch in another 2 days. Not only would she be Lan Jingquang's daughter, but she would be the master of the Lan family. She immediately asked about this matter that she couldn't understand, but the answer she received surprised her and made her feel very amused. Bailey Hongzhuang could be Lan Yunxiao and Mu Lingbing's daughter, Lan Yishuan. This was simply a fantasy story. For so many years, they had never considered the possibility that Lan Yishuan was still alive. Now, such a strange woman had appeared out of nowhere and was seen as a threat by Lan Jingquang and the others. It was simply too laughable. If Lan Yishuan was still alive, she would have come to their Lan family long ago. Why would she wait until now? In her opinion, this was simply a coincidence. Hearing his words, Bailey Hongzhuang smiled faintly. "Young Master Lan, what are you talking about? I don't understand." Chapter 27:18. That's what you think. I didn't say anything. However, after listening to your words, I'm curious. Did you guys do something shameful to Lan Yishuan? Otherwise, why would you guys be so nervous when she's mentioned? Bailey Hongzhuang's beautiful face rippled with an indifferent smile as she looked at Lan Qinyin with ridicule. The latter's thinking was still too simple. If it was really a coincidence, why would Lan Jingquang and the elders of the Lan family be so frightened? However, it was not bad for Lan Qinyin to know about it earlier. The more confident she was, the more painful the slap in her face would be when the real thing happened. What can we do to Lan Yishuan? It's just that she was unlucky and died early. If you think that you can get any benefits from my Lan family just by relying on your slightly similar appearance, then you're really dreaming. I didn't know that I could get benefits from the Lan family with this face. If there's a chance, I'll give it a try. Lan Qingyin furrowed her brows. No matter what she said, Bailey Hongzhuang's expression was neither painful nor itchy, making her feel extremely unhappy. Bailey Hongzhuang really didn't care? Or was all this nonchalance just an act? Lan Qingyin couldn't see through it. In fact, when she suddenly found out that Bailey Hongzhuang had a face that was very similar to Lan Yishuan, she was at a loss. She felt that things were a little strange. But now, after probing, she didn't get any information at all. She didn't understand what Bailey Hongzhuang was thinking. I specially invited you to watch the ceremony of me becoming the patriarch to let you understand the difference between our identities. From now on, I'm the patriarch of the Lan family, and you're just the young palace master of Limitless Palace. Before you become the true palace master of Limitless Palace, our identities will be different. Moreover, no one can say for sure when you'll be chased out of Limitless Palace. Lan Qingyin's words were extremely sharp and unkind. Towards Bailey Hongzhuang, she already hated her to the extreme. She wouldn't let Bailey Hongzhuang have the chance to become the real palace master of Limitless Palace and go against her in the future. A man like Bewitching shouldn't be tainted by Bailey Hongzhuang. Fortunately, her father had already planned everything. Bailey Hongzhuang wouldn't be able to return to Limitless Palace alive. Thank you for your concern, young Master Lan. However, before you become the real patriarch of the Lan family, you should worry about yourself first. In this world, there's a situation called a bolt from the blue. Her voice falling, Bailey Hongzhuang ignored Lan Qingyin and turned to walk in the direction of her residence. Seeing this, Lan Qingyin bit her lip with her pearly white teeth. Her eyes were also filled with displeasure. Let's see how I become the patriarch of the Lan family. I'll let you be proud for now. Soon, you'll have to beg for mercy in front of me. Lan Qingyin's eyes flashed with a vicious light. She was about to be conferred a title soon. At this time, Lan Jingquang specially reminded her not to cause any more trouble to avoid unwanted influence. Otherwise, she would have already taught Bailey Hongzhuang a lesson. The current Bailey Hongzhuang was no longer her opponent. Chapter 2719. The sudden appearance of the black figure caused Bailey Hongzhuang's eyes to flash with a ruthless glint. The energy in her body surged as she prepared to attack at any moment. However, after seeing who it was, Bailey Hongzhuang withdrew her attack. Head Elder. Lan Borong's face rippled with a faint smile. Bailey Hongzhuang's reaction didn't escape his eyes. It seemed that Bailey Hongzhuang also knew that there was a certain amount of danger in the Lan family, so she was on guard everywhere. However, her reaction speed still made him gasp in surprise. Only someone who had faced danger before could take such a defensive stance in such a short time. Moreover, it was so natural when it turned invisible. Young Palace Master Bailey, I'm sorry to disturb you so late. Head Elder is too polite. I was just strolling in the garden, so what's there to disturb about? Bailey Hongzhuang's lips curled into a smile without much expression on her face. She had already guessed Head Elder's purpose in coming here. Young Palace Master Bailey is also a straightforward person. I'm only here to pass on a message. House Master wishes to invite you for a chat. Would young Palace Master Bailey do me the honor? Hearing this, Bailey Hongzhuang was not surprised at all. Lan Hongtai had waited for so long before inviting her to have a chat. This was already tolerable. How could I not honor House Master's invitation? Bailey Hongzhuang smiled faintly. From her father's words, she already knew that Lan Hongtai had always treated them extremely well. At that time, Lan Hongtai was in seclusion to break through to a higher realm, so he had no idea what had happened. Lan Yinxiao had always been confident that if Lan Hongtai knew about this, he would definitely stand on his side. However, Lan Jingquang had chosen the best time to strike, so they didn't even have a chance to counterattack. This could be seen from Lan Hongtai's refusal to hand over the position of House Master to Lan Jingquang. As for Bailey Hongzhuang, She didn't have much feelings for this grandfather she had only met once. If Lan Hongtai really cared about Lan Yinxiao, then even if it was too late, he could still choose to punish Lan Jingquang. But in reality, Lan Jingquang hadn't lived so carefreely for so many years. What was the difference between giving the position of clan head to Lan Qingyin and Lan Jingquang? Under the guidance of Lan Burong, Bailey Hongzhuang arrived at the residence of the patriarch. Knock, knock. Lan Burong knocked on the door, and then Lan Hongtai's deep and honest voice came from outside. Please come in. Young palace master Bailey Hongzhuang, you can go in. I won't go in. Lan Burong smiled and looked at Bailey Hongzhuang. Hearing this, Bailey Hongzhuang nodded her head, opened the door, and walked in. As soon as she entered the house, a black figure appeared in Bailey Hongzhuang's line of sight. Lan Hongtai stood tall and straight. His back was as straight as a spear, and his face was resolute. Only the few strands of white hair on his temples added to his vicissitudes of life. After seeing Bailey Hongzhuang, Lan Hongtai's face also showed a kind smile. Young Palace Master Bailey, please sit. Bailey Hongzhuang glanced at the table and saw that tea was already prepared. Clearly, Lan Hongtai knew she would come. She didn't stand on ceremony and directly sat down. Seeing this, Lan Hongtai's smile deepened. At the same time, he sat across from Bailey Hongzhuang. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.